Hurricane Milton has quickly intensified into a Category 5 storm, and it threatens a part of Florida that is still recovering from Hurricane Helene. Debris is still on the ground in parts of Tampa and needs to be cleared out before this hurricane makes landfall. Joining us now to talk about it all is Alex DaSilva. He's AccuWeather's lead hurricane expert. Alex, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So let's talk about Milton. Where is it right now and where's it going?
Yeah, well, right now, Milton is located down here in the Bay of Campeche, just northwest of the Yucatan Peninsula. We have seen explosive development here over the last 24 hours or so. In fact, it is one of the fastest developing, fastest strengthening storms we've ever seen in the Atlantic. It's only comparable to Wilma and Felix. Those are the other two storms that have rapidly intensified at this pace. And so if the storm continues to intensify, it could potentially be near the top of the list here in terms of fastest intensifying storms. So certainly a history maker here so far with Milton.
Why is it intensifying so quickly? I thought I saw a report that it was just a Category 2 earlier this morning. What's going on here?
Yeah, the storm has exploded, and one of the reasons has been the sea surface temperatures. I mean, you can see this. The entire area, especially where the storm is, middle 80s. Now, typically, tropical systems need about 80 degrees Fahrenheit or so to survive and thrive, but you can see here we have temperatures several degrees above that, and it's not only about the sea surface temperatures, it's about the water with depth. We call that ocean heat content. So essentially, we measure how deep into the ocean these temperatures extend, and across the Gulf of Mexico for this time of the year, we are at record-breaking levels for both sea surface temperatures and ocean heat content. And in fact, where the storm is now, and especially where it's going, the 80-degree temperature line extends 200 to 300, even a little more than 300 feet down below the surface of the ocean. So that is one of the main reasons we've seen this intensify so quickly. And the second kind of big reason we've seen this intensify has been the wind shear. Most of the wind shear has been up across the northern Gulf Coast up here. And so down in this area here where the storm is, very calm wind shear overall. And so that has produced essentially like a Goldilocks zone for the storm down in this area to really explode.
Goldilocks zone for the storm, but a nightmare for people on the ground. Tampa Bay Times has video of the debris that's still in Tampa Bay area that still needs to get off the ground. So let's talk about the path. When will this make landfall, and what do people on the ground in Florida need to know?
Yeah, so we're forecasting the storm to remain a Category 5 through tonight. It actually may start to undergo what we call an eye wall replacement cycle, where an outer eye wall will essentially form in the storm, and then it will essentially contract and choke off the inner eye wall. Now, while that process occurs, the storm can lose a bit of wind intensity. So at some point, maybe tonight or tomorrow morning, we may actually see the storm back off a little bit, lose some wind intensity while this process takes place. It's completely normal in very strong tropical cyclones, but what can happen is, even though the winds come down temporarily, the wind field can expand. And so right now the storm is pretty small. It's maybe average size, maybe a little smaller than average size for a hurricane, much smaller than Helene. But what can happen after these eye wall replacement cycles is the storm can grow. They can grow in size and the wind field can expand. And then shortly after, the winds have the ability to come back up. So small fluctuations in intensity are possible here as the storm is moving. But overall, we expect it to remain a very powerful storm, probably still a Category 4 on Wednesday. And then we're anticipating a strong Category 3 moving in just south of the Tampa Bay area Wednesday around 8 p.m.
Wednesday around 8 p.m. And then when does it clear Florida entirely? When is the state out of the woods?
Yeah, it won't take too long for the storm to move across the peninsula of Florida. So by Thursday morning, it may actually be out back across the Atlantic Ocean. But nevertheless, it does look like all those impacts will come swinging across the peninsula very quickly. We can see very powerful winds, even on the east coast of Florida. We saw that with Ian that moved in down here across southwestern Florida. There was even winds, even way up in Daytona Beach, far away, that still gusted to near hurricane strength. So, even if you're on the east coast of Florida, up here, don't let your guard down. The winds are still going to be very powerful, as well as very heavy rain as well in those areas.